Picture this. You filed your taxes. You paid exactly what you owed. You did everything right. And then 3 years later, a letter shows up from the IRS. They have no record of your return. That actually happened to one of my clients, someone I personally filed for. And when they called me, I remember just sitting there thinking, how is this even possible? Because I filed that return myself. I know it was done right. And it turns out this is not a rare situation at all. The Treasury Inspector General flagged this in their latest report. Over 2.4 million returns were flagged as unprocessed last year alone. This is not a fluke. This is a system under serious pressure. And today I am going to show you exactly what is happening, what it means for your money, and what you need to do right now to protect yourself and your business. My name is Maya. I am a certified tax strategist, and I run a tax planning and bookkeeping firm serving business owners across all 50 states. I have been doing this for over a decade, and I want to be real with you right now. This tax season has been the most chaotic I have seen in my entire career. The IRS is currently sitting on over 29 million unprocessed documents. That number is not normal. That is not just a backlog. That is a breakdown. I built this firm from scratch, client by client, year by year, because I believe most business owners are overpaying their taxes, not because they did anything wrong, but because nobody ever showed them a better way. Right now, showing you a better way means being honest about what is happening inside the system that controls your money. So let me show you exactly what is going on. Because the more you understand this, the better protected you are going to be. There are 4 big problems happening right now that every business owner needs to know about. I am going to name each one clearly so you can remember them and share them with other business owners who need to hear this. And before we get into them, I want to say one thing about number 4. When I first read about it, I honestly thought, okay, this sounds like good news. But the more I sat with it, the more I realized for small business owners, this is actually a warning sign in disguise. I will explain exactly why when we get there. Problem number 1, I call this one the ghost preparer. And this one is completely out of control right now. The IRS has been flooded with bad claims because of 3 words that went viral on social media. No tax on overtime. You probably heard it everywhere. No tax on tips, no tax on overtime pay, no tax on auto loan interest. And some of these things are real. I am not saying they do not exist, but they have qualifications, they have income limits, they have specific requirements around how you earn your money and how you are classified as a worker. And most people who assume they qualify actually do not. And right in that gap between what people think they qualify for and what they actually qualify for, that is exactly where ghost preparers set up shop. They have nice graphics and a ring light, and they are telling you exactly what you want to hear, because that is how they get paid. They run ads on Facebook and Instagram and YouTube. They sound confident. They make big promises about refunds and deductions. They charge a big fee up front. They inflate your return. They put numbers on it that have no legal basis whatsoever. And when the IRS comes looking, you are the one responsible, not them. You. I have watched this happen to real people. A client came to me after a preparer promised her a $12,000 refund. She got the refund. She was happy. She thought everything was fine. Then 8 months later, the IRS came back for every single penny of it, plus penalties, plus interest. And that preparer who made all those promises, nowhere to be found, gone. Already on to the next person. The IRS is specifically warning about this right now. So here is your simple test. If anyone is promising you a deduction or a refund that feels unusually large, ask them one question. Which specific tax code section allows this deduction? And can you walk me through exactly how I qualify? A real professional answers that question easily and happily. They want you to understand their work. That is what legitimate professionals do. But if they get defensive, if they cannot explain it in plain, simple terms, if they say, just trust me, or everybody is doing this, leave immediately. Your name is on that return. Problem number 2, the phantom deduction. Now, this one is where it gets really alarming because this is not a handful of people making a mistake. This is millions of people, and the IRS is already tracking every single one of them. Experts looked at the actual qualifications for the new overtime deduction and estimate that somewhere between 14 and 17 million people in the country would legitimately qualify. Do you want to guess how many people actually claimed it on their return? Over 22 million. As of early April, that is 20% of all tax returns filed this season. Somewhere between 5 and 8 million people filed a return claiming a deduction they very likely do not qualify for. How does something like this even happen? Politicians announced no tax on overtime, like it was simple and universal and applied to everyone automatically. Nobody corrected them, not loudly enough. Anyway, people heard it and assumed it applied to them. And some preparers just put it on returns without checking the actual law first. Now, the IRS has a massive data problem on their hands. When 22 million people claim something that only 14 to 17 million should have claimed, that shows up in their system immediately. Those returns get flagged. Those returns get attention. If you claim that deduction and you are not completely certain you qualify, do not just sit on it and hope for the best. Go get it checked by a licensed CPA or enrolled agent. Not someone who made you promises, someone who will actually look at the law and tell you the honest truth about your specific situation. Fix it today while you still have the advantage, because when the IRS initiates that conversation, you are not just paying back the tax, you are paying back the tax plus penalties plus interest. And that number grows fast. Take care of it now. It is a much easier conversation today than it will be later. Problem number 3, the capital trap. And this one is something most business owners have no idea happened this year. Depending on your situation, it may have already cost you weeks of cash flow without you even realizing it. The government decided to move everyone away from paper refund checks and toward direct deposit. Fine. Good idea in theory, but this was not just a glitch in the rollout. This was 30 days of capital trapped in bureaucratic purgatory. Capital you could not reinvest, could not use for payroll, could not leverage for that new contract you were trying to close. For a growing business, that is not just an inconvenience, that is a direct hit to your cash flow, and the IRS does not think about your cash flow. You have to protect it yourself. Here is exactly what happened. If you did not include your bank account information on your tax return, the IRS did not just mail you a check like they used to. Instead, they sent you a notice asking you to go to irs.gov. Set up an online account and enter your banking details within 30 days. Sounds manageable enough, right? Except the notice itself was confusing. A lot of people did not understand what it was asking them to do or why. The phone number included in the notice was information only. You could not reach a real person. You could not get actual help from a human being. And then people went to the IRS website to set up their account and ran into a system that was genuinely hard to navigate. Professional tax attorneys were reportedly struggling to help their own clients figure it out. Think about that for a second. Trained legal professionals struggling with the IRS website. Missed that 30-day window and you got a 6-week delay added on top of however long you had already been waiting. Over 1.4 million taxpayers were already caught in this situation as of late March. And this is not just data. I have a client right now whose amended return has been sitting unprocessed for over a year. They have been trying to close on a refinance. The lender needs current IRS transcripts, but the transcripts do not reflect reality yet because the IRS has not caught up, so they are just waiting. A real financial decision completely on hold because of a processing delay. That is what this actually costs in real life. Real money, real consequences, real stress. So please do not assume your refund or your documents are just coming. Go to irs.gov right now. Set up your online account if you have not already. Add your direct deposit information. Do it today, not next week. That one simple step could save you weeks of waiting and protect cash flow your business needs right now. Problem number 4, the quiet season trap. And I told you this one was going to sound like good news at first. Here it is. IRS audits on high-income earners are dropping sharply. The IRS had a plan to open about 6,700 new audits on people making over $10 million a year. They only actually opened around 3,700, roughly half of what was planned. And the projection for 2026 drops even further, just 2,264 planned audits at that income level. Less audits. The IRS is backing off. Sounds great, right? Here is why this is actually a warning sign for small business owners like you. When the IRS stops going after the big guys, that revenue does not just disappear. It has to come from somewhere else. And historically, when enforcement drops at the top, it tends to increase on small businesses. Self-employed people, contractors, regular working people like you and me, tax attorneys are already reporting that they are seeing more people willing to cut corners right now because they think enforcement is lighter and they can get away with it. And I want to say something directly about that mindset. The rules have not changed. What you owe, you still owe. I believe in the stewardship, that we are called to multiply what we have been given, not hand it over carelessly to a broken system. But stewardship also means doing things right even when nobody seems to be watching. My client who filed in 2022 got that notice 3 years later. The IRS can and does go back years, always. Do not let a quiet season make you careless. The business owners who stay protected are the ones who keep doing things right, regardless of what the enforcement environment looks like. That is integrity. And it is also just smart business. So what do you actually do with all of this? Here is exactly where to start. Here is exactly what I want you to do right now. 5 things, simple and clear. 1, check your filing status, log into irs.gov and confirm your return was actually received and is being processed. Do not assume everything went through just because you filed it. Check today. 2, review your deductions, especially if you claimed the overtime deduction or any of the new exemptions that got heavy media attention this year. If you are not completely certain you qualified, get a second opinion before the IRS comes asking. A licensed CPA or enrolled agent can check this for you quickly. 3, set up direct deposit if your refund is still pending and your banking information is not on file with the IRS. Go at it right now. 1 step takes 10 minutes. Could save you weeks of waiting on money that is already yours. 4, clean up your books, not just for this tax season, ongoing, every month. Clean, organized records protect you all year long. They make audits manageable. They give you real clarity on how your business is actually doing financially. They are the foundation of every good tax strategy. 5, stop guessing and get a real plan. I put together a framework specifically for business owners who want to stay out of the IRS crosshairs while legally keeping more of what they earn. It is called the Contractor Stewardship Blueprint. It walks you through exactly what we look for when building a real audit-proof tax strategy for your business. The link is in the description. It is free, and it is the first real step toward building a tax strategy that actually works for your situation. The IRS is dealing with budget cuts, staff shortages, lost returns, confusing new rollouts, rising scams, and dropping enforcement numbers. And in the middle of that are real people, are real business owners, people who did everything right and still got caught in a system that is not functioning the way it should. I see it every single day in my own practice. Here is what I know to be true, though. The business owners who come through seasons like this in a strong position are not the lucky ones. They are the prepared ones, the ones who stayed informed, who kept their records clean, who had a real strategy in place before something went wrong. Stewardship is about multiplying what you have been given, not handing it over to a broken system because you did not know better. You know better now, and knowing is the first step. If you are a business owner and you want to make sure your taxes are done right, that you are fully protected, and that you are not leaving real money on the table every single year, let my team help you. Click the link in the description and book your free tax assessment call. We are going to look at your actual numbers, find your real savings, and build a real plan that protects your business going forward. And before you go watch this video next, it shows you exactly how business owners are legally paying close to zero in taxes. And it connects directly to everything we talked about today. Thank you for being here and for caring enough about your business to watch this all the way through. That already puts you ahead of most people. I am Maya Slivkov. See you over there.